Morning, Bitcoiners. I hope you're doing well. I'm loving my life. Who could complain on a day like today? Indeed, we got a great breakup for you this morning. Pardon me for being a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties. I was freaking out on my own, but that's okay. Yelling and cursing. You know the deal. You know what goes on around here when Apple products fail us. You know what goes on. But it all worked out. It continues to be a combination of the shit iCloud not working and all that stupid stuff. But I have a better system. It's become more reliable. I've cut out a few steps. I no longer use the iPad, and I've figured out a way to get what I put on here on this computer simultaneously. So I don't have to create a third bucket of content stuff, a third bucket of special effects. Production value. Richard King, greetings and salutations. Christine, always good news when you're first up in the comments, Christine. We love it. So that means indeed YouTube is working. So we're happy about that. We don't have to wait around for that technical difficulty. Morning, PH. Hope you're doing well. Morning. Tomek, taking day off from fiat mining job to say good morning, good people. Hand pink waving. What's up, Tomek? Hope you're doing well. Dzień dobry. I hope I got that right. Dzień dobry. I am not great at pronouncing that language. Happy Friday, Breakup Crew. Indeed, Edwin. Happy Friday morning, Breakup Breakfast Crew. Hello, Veterans Cannabis Advocacy Group. Hope you're doing well today. We're doing great. We have some fun Moscow time stuff today. We always love the fun Moscow time stuff. Jose, we're winning hardcore, man. Friday the 13th. Oh, I didn't even remember that. Yeah, it is indeed Friday the 13th. Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. Friday the 13th. I'd forgotten. You know, my building doesn't have a 13th floor. Kids are just absolutely confused. They don't get it. Why don't they have? Because it's like, you know, they're all into counting. They're little kids. Good morning, John. Not really aware of the unlucky 13 thing. Double B, indeed, we got a sunrise. It happened. Let's go. We got a Sunrise Tech mega operational today. It was a beautiful, filled with red light sunrise. I'm getting some Tatooine mornings here. It's looking like Star Wars. We're loving it. Apparently, the Northern Lights were out last night. I didn't get them here in the city. I might go to Vermont today, and maybe I'll see some Northern Lights. We'll see. I'm going to spend the night there, I think. Go for the weekend. We're not quite in mega leaf country yet, but I love getting out there. That thumbnail is on point. It's a pretty good one, huh? Yeah, it's already starting to censor cat stuff, though. The Midjourney is like, cats, it's like worse than Trump. So you got to trick it again. Tomek says, Baron Trump is confusing his dad with shitcoins. Yeah, maybe. Listen, guys, the thing about that, and that's why I've always tried to explain, or at least I'm not a toxic maximalist in the sense that I don't care if people make money off crypto. I'll tell you right now, there's never been like an insider more than me, and I wouldn't play that game. So I always give that advice, like, don't play that game. But people win, like any casino, you can win. And again, in the far future, on a Bitcoin standard, it's Bitcoin only. But that's not really the game that's going on right now. The game that's going on right now is the largest wealth transfer in the history of the world. And that wealth transfer is not from like fiat people or old generations, older people, or fiat to crypto to Bitcoin, whatever you want to call it. It's actually from NPCs to Bitcoin. And the best way that I've ever seen in my life. And I continue to see it observably, provably happen every time, is to go from fiat, you mega upgrade your fiat with crypto, you put your fiat on turbo rails, and then you lose, and then you understand the opposite. So there's never been a better conduit, a better funnel into Bitcoin than crypto. It's the best. It's the best. And I don't have any problem with a bunch of boomers. Like, my favorite thing in Bitcoin is to watch boomers staking coins on some fucking shit chain. It's the best feeling you'll ever have as a Bitcoiner. Not because it gives you any money, but it's like, okay, these desperate dumb shits are staking on Aave to get some shit yield. And it's like, they think it's going to work. Okay. Do it. Let's go. More. That's just me, right? So I'm totally into it. And I've never had a problem with crypto for that reason. I just think crypto is the best on-ramp to Bitcoin. Losing at crypto is the greatest orange pill experience out there. I think most people can agree with that. And okay, you can be a nice person and help people skip crypto. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes people skip crypto. Sometimes it happens that way. But it's still not the most popular way. And is it worth all that effort? I mean, just let it fucking roll, man. Just let it roll. People are on their own here. This is not kumbaya time at all. This is, I love the line from Apocalypse Now when they send Kurtz up the river to kill Marlowe and charge him with murder. And he was like, charging someone for murder in the Vietnam War is like handing out speeding tickets at the Indy 500 or an F1 race. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So Bitcoiners are here, and it's like we're handing out fucking speeding tickets in the largest case of kleptocracy in the history of the planet, and scamming. We're going to talk about scamming today. The whole thing's a scam. All of it's a scam. So if Bitcoiners are out there draining the scam through some crypto staking dumb thing, go for it. Like, I don't care. In the end, it all comes into Bitcoin. There's not going to be any like style points, right? It's not going to be like, oh, Bitcoin will only reach hyper Bitcoinization and a Bitcoin standard if we do it in the right style. That's where the Bitcoin maximalists have it wrong. Style doesn't matter. In the future, they're right about everything. They're right about it all. But in the meantime, we still live in a world where everyone thinks they're a Wall Street big dick player. So you got to go and take their fucking money. Okay. Like, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? There's nothing else, right? Now, I don't play that game, but I don't give a shit if other people do. What business is it of mine, right? So I'm all about embracing the scammy side of crypto. Not for Bitcoiners. It's not for us. We're not involved in that. But if other people want to go do it, like I said, watching boomers stake coins on shit chains to get fake yield is bullish. Super bullish. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. They even sometimes they try and make videos about doing it, and now I'm staking here and da, 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 da. So it's just great, right? Yeah. Now, all of us, again, use my example, right? I've been on the inside of all of this shit from the very beginning. I was at the ETH sale. I was working with producing Solana's event when Solana was like $1 or something crazy like that. And so I've been at the start of a lot of this stuff. And I will tell you, there isn't anyone who knows more about this guy and that guy and what's going on. There's no way I could time it. And there's no way you're going to know more of these people than me. So it's just stupid. If I'm telling you firsthand, you got to get lucky, no matter how many insiders you know, no matter how close to it you are, you're still not going to get the info, right? You're still going to be potentially left holding the shitcoin bag. But degen, go have fun. It's fine, right? Shitcoins are funnels into Bitcoin, nothing more than test nets to get you started. Yeah, exactly. Tommy has it right. Now, I do not promote it. I will never give you the advice of doing it, right? I care about you people. I'm not going to go and tell you to trade shitcoins unless I hear something that's, sort of obvious. But in general, just stay away. But what I mean also is don't waste your energy on people who do it, right? Like if Trump is getting advice on shitcoining, I think it's funny. Like it's perfect, right? So just don't let it bother you. If Trump is shitcoining, don't hold Trump to the Bitcoin maximalist standard. That we're those guys are already living in the future, and God bless them, right? The maximalists, let them live in the complete and total future and let you know that you're not living in the way that people will live in the future, and they're totally right about that. But we're in a intermediary period here of bimetallism and fake government money, and there's no style points. There's no style points, right? Hyper Bitcoinization is messy business, and we're on our way. So there you go. There you go. That's what we're up to. But water is filled with shitcoins, sharp teeth with fiat bloodlust. Yeah. There you go. Bitcoin Deb, birthing my 2 kids and skipping shitcoins are my most proud accomplishments. But I agree, any on-ramp is good. Listen, skip them. They're not worth the time. But this is one of those hard lessons that people just have to learn on their own, mostly, right? No one does care. He was the only person to offer me a hug at Bitcoin 2023. Of course I care. Yeah, of course I care. Of course I care. But I don't want you to lose from the shitcoins, right? So don't do it. But don't worry if Trump is doing it with his fucking kid. It's perfect. Like, can you just imagine Barron? Okay, daddy. Then you got a steak on Ave, and you got a, and then Trump is like trying to do it. It's just the best picture. It's not even happening, but it's the best. Yeah, exactly. Trump is putting crypto and Bitcoin out there, so all in good. Yeah. He'll learn. Imagine when he learns. Imagine when he learns about the scams of crypto and jumps into Bitcoin even more. I mean, he'll be the most powerful maximalist we've ever had. There'll never be a maximalist like him if he goes full maxi. Imagine Trump as a toxic maximalist. It's like when I think of Trump as a toxic maximalist, it's like when I hear these stupid Australians or these dumb Kiwi people, and they're like, "Oh, you American football players would get killed if you played a real man sport like rugby." And I'm like, what? Excuse me, what? And then they'll keep saying, "Oh, I see these fat people playing football, American football. They're on they play the line." And I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute." They're not on the rugby team. If America made a rugby team, it would just be running backs and linebackers. And then the rest of the world would go, "Oh, I didn't know you could play the sport that way." America, if they spent a summer, if American linebackers in the NFL and running backs spent one summer just practicing a little bit of rugby, throwing the stupid ball and all the things you do in rugby, by the end of the summer, they would beat the greatest rugby team in the world 250-0. And the rest of the world would go, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could play. They would make up totally new plays. It would be a totally different game. It wouldn't even be close to the same, right? So that's what I think of when I think of Trump being a toxic maximalist. It's like we don't even know what toxicity is until he does it. We would have no clue. All the rest of the maxis would be, "Oh, I thought I was being the most toxic and the most disturbing to fiat sludge people." No, he is like an American running back linebacker team that just joins rugby and destroys them. That's what it would be. It would be the greatest ever. There wouldn't even be a second place, right? Yeah, Barron can't be that perfect, to be honest. And isn't it funny? Barron now living in Trump Tower in New York City. Imagine you're going to NYU, right? And then you go home to your gold-plated skyscraper. I even saw Autism Capital had the best picture the other day about how much he's killing it at NYU. I gave a probably the first NFT talk ever at NYU, by the way. I gave a talk in September, going back to school 2018, about the NFT craze that was about to hit, to all like the top sort of art curator people who was at the art department at NYU. I talked about meme money and all this stuff, and obviously tied Bitcoin into it. And it was a lot of fun. And the people there were, NYU is like a great little campus in the middle of the city. It's right by PubKey, by the way. If you're a Bitcoiner, you can get to NYU very easily from PubKey. But so Autism Capital came up with this picture, and it's Barron. And I guess he had a friend in his class who's an Indian kid. And he's like, "Oh, he's killing it. He's already got his Indian CEO." It's too good. Oh, yes, indeed. We missed we haven't, Crypto Truth reminding me. Crypto Truth reminding me we have a script for the show we got to fulfill, right? The sun indeed up, Bitcoin running, no problem. Sunrise Tech operational, Bitcoin doing great. Let's have a coffee and then talk about the fake news. So there you go. Now, Bitcoin Dev says Trump will be in his Mar-a-Lago hospital bed at 102 chanting, Bitcoin is the best. It's incredible. It's really great. I'm the one who brought it to light. Exactly. When he becomes a maximalist, you're going to know. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Grass-fed Bitcoin had a good take on shitcoining. Recently, fiat coins are shit coins, but no one moralizes people using it to pay for everyday stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've been calling U.S. trash tokens that for a long time. I don't even call them dollars. When I'm with normies, especially, I'll call U.S. dollars and Canadian dollars trash tokens every time. I almost never failed. How many trash tokens did that cost? Canadian trash tokens or U.S. trash tokens? And people are, what? I recommend using it. I recommend it. It works well. 23-minute cold opener. That's a great idea, Nolan. Yes, USA #1 in rugby. We should just do it. They should just do it. Yeah, they should just go out and do the rugby thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, what's the population of New Zealand? Like 6 million, maybe 10 million. I don't know. Like 10 million against the United States. And the athletes they have playing football through college and high school, these guys would, like I said, it would take a summer, a couple of months where they'd learn a few tricks, and then it would be 250-0. It just wouldn't even be a game. I mean, there's that guy the Kiwis still go on about. I can't remember his name. But he did like a couple stiff arms, and they're still freaking out about it, like in the 90s, right? He did some stiff arms. Could you imagine like a team of just the Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson, all these people over the years, all the linebackers that have been around? They're all world-class sprinters who can turn in a dime and kill people. Okay, no country's beating them. It's not happening. It's not the France rugby team. Have you seen these guys? It's not going anywhere. 250-0 in the finals. It'd be worse than the basketball. It would be worse than the basketball. Worse. So there you go. That's just what I think. I could be wrong. All right. We have the whole morning. Let's talk about some Moscow time. Where is it fake? What was my prediction that I would not be able? I still haven't figured out why. I'm trying to figure out the pattern. Still trying to figure out why I don't find any more weather reports about heat waves. I just can't figure it out. I don't know what's up. It's September, and suddenly the weather reports of heat waves around the northern hemisphere have just disappeared. So I'm going to keep working at that. I'm going to keep trying to find the pattern. But I did predict a new pattern, that we would start to see lots of stories about rain. We would start to see the news cover the rain, right? They started covering the thunderstorms over the summer. They're like, thunderstorms, lightning in Europe. Lightning is here, right? We had international news because there was a lightning storm in one little corner of Europe. Now what we're going to have, right? It's September, right? We're going to start to have more stories about the rain. Where is it raining today, right? You would be very surprised to hear that at the top of the Alps, 12,000 feet altitude, 4,000 meters in France and Switzerland and Austria at the top of the mountains. It's snowing, right? Heavy snow is disrupting transport in the Alps, transport to the top of the mountains. Well, southern Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic face red alerts for rain. Red alerts, everyone. Red alerts. Rain is here. It's raining in the Alps. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. It's just the worst. Where else? China has some weather troubles. They had extreme weather this summer. Now, here's the thing, guys, right? We're all trying to figure out what's wrong with the economy. The news is they're trying to figure out what's happening to the economy in the world. They figured it out. It looks like China's economy likely failed to reverse a months-long slowdown rooted in depressed demand, right? especially after the disruption caused by extreme weather. Extreme. Mountain Dew brings you the extreme weather of the summer. So there you go. Colorado has had California had snow last week. California had some snow, right? We got snow. It's snowing all over the place. It's September. Okay. I lived in the Alps. I went to college in the Alps where it might have snowed yesterday in the part that I was in. And indeed, there was full snow right now in September when I was there at the top. The tops remain sort of white all the time. It's always snowy up there. There you go. So we got heavy rain, extreme weather. Now the question everyone's wondering, right? Climate lawsuits are exploding, everyone. Are homicide charges next? That's what they're asking in the New York Times today. The courts have become one of the most important battlegrounds in the fight over planet warming emissions. Here are the prominent cases to watch. So what I'm thinking here is like it rained a bunch in the Alps, right? But at the same time, I know for a fact that cows were farting at the base of the Alps, right? So I don't know. I'm not a climate scientist. I can't get my mind around all this stuff. But what I think is happening is, because they have a lot of the cows. That's what they have the bell in Switzerland, ding, 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 right? So the bell goes on when they're walking around. I think what's happening is they're all farting. It's going up, and then it's hitting the top of the mountains, and then there's like an effect, right? You know how it rains a lot in Vancouver because the mountains are right on the coast, and then the clouds hit the mountains, and it brings all the rain down in Vancouver. Well, I think there's something like that going on. We got to get some scientists on it. I think what's happening is the farts are going into the air and then they're condensing. So truthfully, the immediate cause of death, I think you can do homicide charges. I think New York Times is onto something. There's some homicide of the farmers. Anyone who dies, for example, in like an avalanche, I can see the cause and effect between the avalanche and the cows at the base of the mountain. So we got to get some of these farmers in jail. We got to make an example so they learn to plug the butts of their cows and the mouths so that they don't burp either, because it can come out that way. So we got to get serious about this stuff, because otherwise I don't know what to do. So just throw a couple of these farmers in jail, charge them with first-degree murder, and we should be all right. So that's the answer there, right? Someone who's not rain is just farts, Tommy. Yeah, it's just a theory. It's just a theory. I'm not sure yet. It's like I said, I think they ride up the mountain, and then because they're emissions, right? Now, I'm going to have to do a whole other analysis on whether or not the emissions are actually getting, they're being removed from the atmosphere by increased rain. I think that's what climate scientists are actually, what they actually believe. Yeah, fart-induced homicides. Yes, exactly, guys. All right, so now we know that some people have to go to jail, right? Some people have to be charged with murder. Of course, it rained and it was hot, so we got to charge people with murder because of the weather. But someone who's not getting charged, Kamala Harris, she's embraced America's oil boom, but it's for the best, right? It's for the best. She's into oil to stop climate change. Don't you understand? She is in it to stop it. Okay. She's doing it. She's embracing it to stop it. So totally fine with me. This is just one of those normal stories where, they're just letting us know what's going on. And that's why, right? If you look at the New York Times this morning right on the cover, I mean, this is perfect, right? Oh, this was yesterday. To Trump, the US is failing. To Harris, there's hope. I mean, that's why you can't charge her with homicide. She's got hope. She's embracing fracking and the oil boom in America because of hope, right? Meanwhile, right, thank God the New York Times is fact-checking someone here. They fact-checked Trump yesterday. It's perfect, right? I mean, Trump's out there lying. So this is the fact check they run, right? So first of all, you got to remember, he thinks America's in decline, right? And she's for hope. And now we know, he says now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. So the fact check is this needs some context, right? He's saying illegal aliens that are criminals can get their dick cut off if they ask, and their balls too. And maybe they can even get some fake tits put in right? I don't know. I don't know if the fake tits are covered or if it's just the dick and the balls that are off, but they can get it. She said, Kamala said it, right? So, but it's, Trump's out there trying to say it's bad what she's doing, but it needs context. Trump is referring to Harris's response to a 2019 American Civil Liberties Union questionnaire, in which she said she supported using taxpayer funds to give access to gender-affirming care to transgender and non-binary people, including those in immigration detention and prison. A Harris campaign spokesperson said that questionnaire is not what she is proposing or running on. So, even though she said she was going to do it on 2019, it's not happening anymore. Okay. It's not like the spokesperson said she's changed her mind about it. So get out of here, Trump. Even if she said one time she wants illegal aliens to get their dick and their balls cut off, supported by taxpayer money, that was before. It needed context. She has evolved. Okay. She's evolved. She is now not giving a clear answer on what we should do with illegal aliens who want their dick and balls cut off. But that's, it's fine. It's fine. It's all going to plan. What else is Trump up to, right? Besides lying about Kamala's desire to fund dick and castrations and stuff, right? What else is they lying about? Donald Trump said Republican politicians would be easy to break. He was right? Never underestimate the durability of a demagogue with a captive base, a desperate will to keep going, and an opposition to spineless ciphers. Right? What else is going? The Atlantic. Kamala Harris is the first person to run against the former president who does not treat him as the center of the U.S. political solar system. Instead, she treats him like the guy who has overstayed a welcome party. It's her secret weapon. Right? This was the best look, huh? How much do you love that? Huh? How much do you guys love? How endearing is it when she does this? How endearing. Aren't you like, oh, she's so cool and poised. I'm going to do this all the time now. It's just great, right? It's just great. Now, what else is going on with old Trumpy, right? Obviously, he's been promoting the cat story, cats, right? How a fringe online claim about immigrants eating pets made its way to the debate stage. The Guardian, Republicans spread baseless slurs about cat-eating migrants in Ohio City. You want to know what a lie this is, guys? You want to know what a lie this is, right? They're saying in an Ohio City here, Springfield, right? That's what they're talking about. Well, luckily, we got fact checkers, right? It's not Springfield. She's from Canton, guys. Ohio woman accused of eating cat is from Canton, not Springfield. God, what a bunch of liars. They're out there saying cats are getting eaten in Springfield. Meanwhile, everybody knows it's Canton. Everybody knows, right? Now, in her defense, she's a natural-born American, so it's not even Haitians. She was born in America. Let's fact check this stuff. Come on. We can't go around thinking cats are getting eaten and all that stuff. And by the way, if you're on Twitter yesterday, you might have seen tons of testimony about cats getting eaten and geese getting eaten. You might have seen a 30-minute video of interviews with people saying, yeah, they're eating the cats, right? Yeah, that's happening. There might have been this one other guy who came out and gave a whole speech. He was never a Trump supporter, hated Trump, but he looked into it and he's like, oh my God, they're eating cats, right? But that's because he was on Twitter. Right? What's going on over on Twitter? Well, right? You can now leave Twitter if that's what you don't want to see. If you don't want to see any more cats and all that stuff and all the cat lies, right? The Associated Press is giving us some tips today, tech tips. Ever wanted to quit Elon Musk's X platform? Here's how you can do it. One tech tip. Ever wanted to quit Elon Musk's platform? So they give you all this, that way you don't have to see any more of the cat debunking stories. You don't have to see any more people talking about people eating cats. I mean, there was one video that luckily got taken off of X yesterday, which is a guy sucking the blood out of a cat's neck live. So just stay off of Twitter because it's just going to be cat lies. So thankfully, the Associated Press is here letting us all know today how to just leave. We just got to leave, right? And by the way, don't just run to YouTube, right? Because on YouTube, guess who's over there? The Atlantic is letting us know. Joe Rogan has helped to track a ragtag group of people to Austin. Austin's in Texas. Texas is full of Republicans, right? people to Austin who don't fit with the boundaries of either major political party. Through platforms largely outside mainstream media, their views are being transmitted across America. How Joe Rogan remade Austin. Right? So be careful. Be careful. Oh, and now the next one, also from The Atlantic. And I think The Atlantic's been watching the breakup. I think they've been watching the breakup because look what they're saying, right? Look what The Atlantic is saying. The economics profession has become insular and status obsessed and not focused enough on making a positive impact in the world. 3 changes would make it both more democratized and more useful. But here they say, break up big econ. That's what I've been saying. That's what we've been saying here. Break it up, right? Get rid of that econ, right? Get rid of it. So that's our Moscow time for today, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's the news. What happened? It's pretty funny stuff, right? So there's a funny joke that happened yesterday. Speaking of economists with their stupid data and their fake stuff, this is a funny story. So years ago, I booked a speaker in 2017, and he was outside of the norm for Bitcoin and crypto, and his name is Bob Vulgaris. So Bob Vulgaris is one of the biggest NBA gamblers ever. He's a max NBA gambler, so he came up with some strategy years ago. But truthfully, he's really a statistician. So he looks for the games you can max bet on based whatever. He's a big poker player too. He happens to be from Canada, and he lived in Montreal and all this stuff. And somehow I got in touch with him in the early days. Actually, you know how I got in touch with him? It's because I emailed Mark Cuban. So I got Mark Cuban's email in the early days around all this Bitcoin stuff, and I'd been emailing him for about a year, and he always answers back, believe it or not. He was sort of known and notorious. When I was given his email from a CoinDesk journalist, he said, yeah, believe it or not, he emails back all the time. He's really good on email. If you write him, he'll respond. So I've had a several year long email relationship with Mark Cuban. And when I started the email relationship, I asked him to come speak at a CoinDesk event. And he says, no, I can't, but I'll introduce you to my friend, Bob Vulgaris. His name is Haralabos. He's really a Greek fella, but he calls himself Bob, and he's really Canadian and American. So Mark Cuban put me in touch with this Bob Vulgaris guy and said, this is the guy who taught me about Bitcoin. He knows more, blah, blah, blah. The Dallas Mavericks ended up hiring Bob Vulgaris to be their online data advanced statistics guy. He is really an advanced statistics numbers runner. He's not just gambling for shits and giggles, right? So he's a very rich man, very successful at what he does, very good at data. He lives in the south of France, like Monaco, doesn't do his 6 months in America. Just like me, he's not an American citizen, so he can come out, doesn't have to deal with global taxation, still spends a lot of time there. So yesterday, all this I just want to link up Mark Cuban and Vulgaris in your minds, because at one time they were very close. I was introduced to Bob from Mark Cuban, and for years I stayed in touch with Bob and have chatted with him here and there to get him involved in stuff, right? He was already a big Bitcoiner back then, though. So in 2017, you got to remember, this was a multi-millionaire NBA gambler, slight celebrity in the data world, who was already talking big about Bitcoin. And he went on stage and just trashed, at the time, Bitcoin Cash, called it B Cash. That was triggering back then. It turned into a big thing. People were waiting for him after the stage, like, what are you insulting Bitcoin Cash for, right? So he was already in the slight maxi category back then. But here's his joke. So yesterday, Elon Musk comes out and is talking all about the crime statistics, right? So Mark Cuban comes out and is talking about all about the crime statistics, right? You are being lied to. Elon Musk is lying to you, right, about crime. So Bob Vulgaris comes and says, I asked a good friend of mine who works at the NBI to confirm this. Here was his response, right, about what's going on with crime in America. And he says, hey, I'll take a look at this in a few. Just at Walgreens right now, waiting for an attendant to come unlock the cabinet so I can grab some deodorant. Should be home in a bit. Because, of course, any amount of arguing over the data around crime in America is just retarded. It's a fiat thing to do. Bitcoiners understand you can't trust the data. There's no data in the world worth a damn, right? Bitcoiners One of the reasons why Bitcoiners are Bitcoiners is because we don't trust any other data point on earth. Like literally 0 data points are good. Nothing. No data that is useful and relevant, that isn't just like some historic, not even the historic sports numbers make sense anymore because they've all been inflated by, for example, they put the Negro League statistics into Major League Baseball this year. Okay, maybe they used to play 3 games in a day. Pitchers would stay in for 2 straight games and their arms were wonky elastics by the end. Sure, it was all the same. You're right. It was the exact same thing. So the idea here being that if the data has money attached to it, it's garbage. You can't trust it at all, except Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only data point in the world worth anything. And we can see it in almost every way, right? What we know from the news here is all about the FBI fact check about the debate, right? We saw it's a complete scam, right? The reality is Trump was right. Crime is not down. It is way, way up. What we find out here is, of course, the FBI simply by using the Soros prosecutors just don't report crimes anymore. And by not reporting the crimes, they're not happening, statistically not happening, right? So here you go, right? What he's saying here is take Chicago, for example. Every weekend, approximately 70 people are shot every weekend. The crisis has escalated so much, to such an extent that the mayor recently canceled the city's contract with a company that detects and reports gunfire. There are so many gunshots in Chicago that police can only respond if someone is actually hit by a bullet. New York City is similarly experiencing a huge spike in robberies and assaults, often occurring in broad daylight. There's also ample evidence that the FBI and the Biden-Harris regime are simply cooking the books. Watch Jesse Waters expose what he calls Enron-style corruption in their crime reporting, right? The next time someone tries to tell you that Biden and Harris have reduced crime to its lowest level in 50 years, let them know the truth. It's easy to claim a decrease in crime when you leave out data like 25% of the population living in major cities like LA and New York. The reality is these omissions paint a misleading picture of the state of crime in America. Don't let them gaslight you with manipulated statistics. Demand full transparency and accountability in crime reporting to get the real story. You're still not going to get the real story. So even if you demand, it's just not going to happen, right? The data itself is garbage, will be garbage. It'll be garbage under Republicans. It's garbage now. It's not to be trusted. You can tell by going to Walgreens that stuff is fucked up in America. Like you can't buy anything. It's all locked up, right? So you can tell right away there's a problem. These guys haven't made it up. But what we see is on almost every level of important national pillars of our social health in America, our civic health, are all just deteriorating and are filled with lies, right? That's why I always use my line that the allies from World War III, World War II are really the all lies this time. Every single aspect of it is a lie. All of it. Crime in America, total and complete lie. The law enforcement, just look at this. You had Merrick Garland yesterday saying law enforcement must never be treated as an apparatus for politics. Meanwhile, yesterday you had another court basically saying that the Trump election interference charges are complete bullshit, right? So they had to drop a few of them. An Atlanta area judge has thrown out 2 more charges against Donald Trump and a third against several of his allies in a sprawling election interference case, accusing them of criminally conspiring to try to overturn the 2020 election, right? So, I mean, he was, Garland yesterday was just rubbing our noses in lying. It was one of the most disgusting examples of, really an application to be dropped from space is what he was doing. He was applying to be dropped from orbit, where you saw those people walking yesterday. Okay. You had 4 people doing the spacewalk. Not long from now, those 4 people are going to come out and they're going to have Merrick Garland by the scruff of his stupid spacesuit, and they're just going to throw him out, and he's going to go, oh, and that'll be that. Okay. That is going to happen. He is getting dropped from space for the kinds of stuff he's talking about, right? The kinds of lies he's pulling, the kinds of lies all these all lies are trying to pull. Even look at this, right? We now see that so you got him saying law enforcement. Okay, what about other government agencies? It turns out that they're going to turn the House or the HUD thing that the brain doctor Ben Carson used to run. It's the Housing and Urban Development office in Washington, D.C. It has all these separate little agencies that work for it. The Biden-Harris regime used the 2020 election as a trial run to use federal tax, this is from Amuse again, dollars to replicate and expand Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan's so-called Zuck Bucks effort using HUD in 2020. This year, they've expanded the effort to every federal agency, and they're refusing to allow any oversight from Congress. So obviously, I mean, everyone here understands we have scam elections. We talk about it all the time. This is another one of those cases. Now, I don't think there's anything illegal about this. You can sign people up and you can do all that stuff. But in this case, it's a partisan effort. So it should have some form of scrutiny. There'll never be any. They'll just let it run, right? What about, so we've got the elections scam, the crime data scam, right? What about the assassination attempt? Scam, another scam, right? Now I'm told the Department of Homeland Security is pressuring the Secret Service not to comply with document requests by Congress about the Trump assassination attempt. What are they hiding from the people? This comes from Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri. You've got Amuse here again. This is a top Democrat senator, Blumenthal, right? Coming forward to blow the whistle on Biden-Harris cover-up of the assassination attempt on Trump. This is shocking. He comes out and says that Americans will be absolutely disturbed what they hear. And this was from the briefing yesterday. So how disturbed will you be? I won't. My mind is prepared for they literally were in on it, right? Now we get this story too from Bill Ackman saying the questions for the debate were given to Kamala Harris beforehand. I think we all could have guessed that before. The girl questioning her was a sorority sister. So one of the two hosts was in the same college sorority as Kamala Harris. And we also know that some CEO or someone high up at ABC is also Kamala Harris's like best friend. So of course she got the questions, right? So that's obvious. Bill Ackman, a little shocked by it, a serious breach of journalistic ethics and a death blow to ABC network reputation. Is it? I mean, we've known that they were a scam for a long time, but nevertheless, it shows that ABC was probably the biggest loser in that whole thing, right? Which is what I said the day after the debate, that ABC was the loser. And I don't think that's going to get changed. So it's part of the all lies network. Then we also see here, we've got the White House finalizing plans to expand where Ukraine can hit inside Russia. Listen to how they word that, right? What they're actually saying is the White House is is coordinating with Ukraine to attack Russia. They can't. The weasel words here don't work, right? It's part of the all lies mission. Robert Kennedy noticing, right? These guys are going to get us into World War III, the warmonger's dream since 1961. Finally, they have a president and VP happy to go along with it. The White House is ready to greenlight use of American missiles to strike targets deep inside of Russia. The Russians have many ways to retaliate. Why are they taking this risk? Ukraine is neither a treaty ally nor a vital interest. Biden himself once warned this could cause World War III, right? And Putin saying it yesterday, right? Basically explaining that this is what I just said, a American proxy way of attacking Russia directly. And he's not stupid enough to call it otherwise. He's saying if Americans use their tactical systems, the Ukrainians can't operate them alone. They'll need assistance, just technical assistance. And that is enough for him to consider America attacking Russia. Elon Musk saying, I have a bad feeling about this, right? And then you have, I was supposed to have one more thing in here about this stuff. I don't know where it went. But anyway, it was another thing on these things. But anyway, so there you go. You've got the World War III, you've got the elections, you've got the crime statistics, you've got all these things, right, that prove that we are not living in anything like an Allies World War II situation. We're dealing with something completely different. It's just lies. It's a pit of lies. But the funny thing is, when people started talking about Trump's anger, and what I said, two things 2 days ago. I said, if the cat thing turns out to be true, and also the way Trump was angry during the talk might model how a lot of Americans actually feel. And I've been mentioning those two observations since the debate. And that's what we're starting to see. So this guy here, right? You got to watch the video. Kind of a homosexual guy. Don't know if he is. Nothing, no comments on that at all. What I mean to say is he's definitely not the stereotypical Trump supporter. This guy, okay, doesn't seem like it to me. And he comes out, and this is what people are seeing, right? And by the way, the songs and everything going viral yesterday, they're just so much fun. Eating the cats, eating. I've been dancing to it for days. Eating the cats, eating the cats, they're eating the cats. I can't stop. It's just the greatest song ever. And the other funny thing is the song was actually written by someone who hated Trump, thinking he was dunking on the MAGA people, and now it's become this MAGA anthem, and it's just great. Oh, and by the way, yeah, this is what I had meant was supposed to be here. There was a Victoria Nuland interview where she comes out and totally admits in the Russia thing that the peace deal was available to them and they denied it because it would, and her exact reasoning was it would weaken Ukraine's ability or sovereignty or something if they had to listen to American military help. I mean, that was the actual predicate, right? Which is crazy. Anyway, back to our friend here. So he said, so stupid, the cat thing, right? The cat, no way. And then he looked into it. Okay. So this is someone saying this is probably not true. This is could be a fake thing anyway, but I think it does represent something close to true. I have a friend who questions Donald Trump saying migrants were eating wild animals and house pets that got out. So he did his research today. Guess what he found out? It's all true. And now he'll never trust the mainstream media again. Thanks for waking up millions of people today, dumbasses, right? And it goes on. Again, the way Trump was angry during the thing. If you're up against the all eyes, is it time to just do style points, right? Is it style point time? No, it's not. People are picking up on that, right? This is a pretty good representation of, I think, how some people have seen the debate go. Trump has been going hard as fuck for 2 years, has been fending off lawfare. The dude legit got shot and still didn't quit. And you fools believe the cap about this nobody, midwit, school marmish lady who in the debate was assisted by moderators who were fact-checking Trump and cutting his mic. I have never thought Trump was a remarkable dude or a great candidate, but he's absolutely killing it in real world terms. You're helots. If legacy media repeated over and over that dog shit tasted good, you'd run out and scoop it in an additive for your cornflakes. And Cernovich saying something similar here, saying, when I said Trump won the debate, y'all wanted to argue with me. I ain't a frustrated theater kid who got into politics and gets razzle-dazzled over one night. I see the board. Harris showed how hurt she was, especially in fracking on guns, right? And there's more like this. Cernovich also says here, last night Kamala Harris put on a skin suit of a Republican except on abortion, where she is hardcore with no limits for a full-grown baby. Some say she won. If you're a theater kid, maybe. This is a Republican election for the taking. I don't feel optimistic. I don't like to feel optimistic, but... and you've also got him saying this here, right? One, as is how low IQ like you code a debate. You can't think beyond a show. As usual, I was the most accurate. Audiences love the horse race aspect of political commentary. Who won the debate? Harris looked pretty and didn't blow it. Trump won, though, because a few waves of magic hat isn't enough to undo the last 4 years. Voters know we can't survive 4 more years of this. And that's kind of what Trump was saying. He did a statement on it. I won the debate, but I was criticized by the radical left lunatics because I looked angry and forceful. But think, why wouldn't I be angry? And this is the part that I was really trying to connect here, right? I love the USA, and it is being destroyed by grossly incompetent leadership. Inflation, a terrible economy, horrible military decisions, no respect for any people around the world, and more than 20 people, many from prisons and mental institutions, are pouring into our country and creating havoc, crime, and destruction like never seen before. I am supposed to be smiling like fake Comrade Kamala Harris with her fake 1.5 hour smile and long practiced facial expressions, despite all of the problems that she and Crooked Joe have caused. No, there's nothing to smile about. But there will be in the not too distant future when America makes the biggest comeback in history. November 5th, make America great again. Indeed, you're seeing a bunch of this stuff, right? And then Trump comes out yesterday and does something that I predicted was going to happen in this cycle. So not what Trump did, but what it's the direction that he's headed in. Yesterday, Trump comes out and says no more income tax now. He did the no tax on tips. Now he's doing no tax on overtime work. So the people who want to work extra are going to work extra for tax-free in America if he's elected. So that should sew up the entire working population. And Prof. Seno is saying he's getting close to just getting rid of income taxes. That's what's going to happen. Income taxes aren't going to survive. the blowback from either of these people getting elected is going to end the income tax. There's no way. There's no way the crazy Kamala people and the Democrats are going to want to fund a Trump government, which I'm totally for. I think they could take their money right out of the system, right? So that's what's going to happen. And it's going to happen because the economics around the US dollar won't survive what comes next, right? Even this thing yesterday where, I've been talking about the Goldman Sachs data that came out. Remember the one that I've been joking about where it's like Goldman Sachs, right? Once they made enough money this year and they said to their best analysts, you go out and you find out which campaign platform is the best for the American people and the American economy. And they're just so generous. They were honest. Well, we found out that's a bunch of bullshit, right? What happened was the CEO of Goldman Sachs came out and destroyed Kamala for lying about her report on the debate. That report came from an independent analyst, and the differential was 0.2%. This blew up into something that's bigger than intended. So it was 0.2%, and they counted all the illegal immigrant welfare payments as GDP. So it was a stupid analysis, like I've been saying. But at the same time, so you have him coming out and saying that. You've got BlackRock talking Bitcoin yesterday about how it's a hedge against increasing global disorder and declining trust. Exactly what we've been saying. No one is going to believe these people, either of them. I love Trump, but he's launching a DeFi exchange. Like, I'm not giving him tax money. It's not what's happening here, right? I like him for the cat jokes. I like him for a lot of policy, that getting rid of taxes, being a wrecking ball, all that stuff. But it's not like I'm lining up to give him my Bitcoin, right? I'm not doing that. I'm not giving him the fruits of my labor either. I love the guy. I'll give him my time and energy and all that stuff. But I think a lot of people are going to come this way. And just like Dan Tapiero here says, right, it's just getting started. Doesn't matter who wins the election for Bitcoin. It's all happening. Step back. So much progress from 5 years ago. Innovation everywhere, and it's global. We would already be over $100,000 per Bitcoin if the Fed hadn't strangled the economy. And he's talking here about the ECB deposit rate and how basically it doesn't even matter what happens in America. The European bank is over, and that will create enough of a vortex of failure that should capture the U.S. system. So there you go. It's all coming down, right? Which is why Biden wore the MAGA hat yesterday, right? So by the way, as much as I think Biden is a despicable, disgusting, motherfucking asshole who points his finger way too much, the worst thing he ever did was point his finger at the MAGA people and call them all the names he did, blame them for everything, use Trump's stuff as a proxy to attack Trump's supporters. I have no problem, I never have, with anyone criticizing Donald Trump. The minute you go after his supporters, that's when I fucking take issue, because then it becomes an insult on me and it puts a target on my back. And I don't like that, obviously. I'm not doing it to help everyone. Oh, you've been maligned by the fake news. It puts a target on my fucking back. I don't like it. I don't like when people attack MAGA people. Attack Trump all you fucking want. I don't care. Trump can handle himself. When you attack the people who like him for the reasons they like him, you're making a big mistake, right? And so Biden has been one of the worst ever for that. Ever. But yesterday he did probably the most endearing thing I've ever seen him do. He put a MAGA hat on, and the whole thing was great. The whole thing was great, right? Biden talking with this guy, telling him he doesn't want his autograph. I thought Biden came across awesome in this. It's the only moment I've ever thought Biden was decent at all. It's not changing my mind about if he's a decent person or not. I think he's, like I said, despicable. But seeing that humanity from him yesterday was actually pretty cool, and I liked it a lot. And I don't know why people are dunking on him so much. I thought it was a great moment, and it was really great. And the picture of Trump when he has Biden wearing the MAGA hat, the whole thing was great. I just thought it was awesome. So there you go. Biden funny yesterday. Okay, I can't stay too long. Just like Crypto Truth, hate to run. Yeah. But I got to do something soon. All lies, bullshit continuously. Yeah. This PO was almost a Supreme Court judge. Yeah, no. Merrick Garland cannot be anywhere near that. Yeah. X is reporting 117 listeners on Breakup Spaces. Great. Great. Yeah, I usually get a pretty good live audience on X. It just doesn't come through on mine. I've got here, it says I've got 125 across YouTube and Rumble Live. So I usually do get over 200. When I was still broadcasting on Bitcoin Magazine, I was up to about 400 or 500 live, which was a really nice number. We'll see if we can replicate that on our own. We're going for it. Biden is the modern version of ancient Rome's Caligula. All right, team. That's all I got for today. I hope you have a great weekend. I shall see y'all on Monday. Probably heading out to Vermont today. We'll see what's going on. I have my daughter's had COVID for the past 3 days. The one who didn't get it last time. So she made it 2 instances. You know, I had COVID twice this year. I had it back in Barbados, and then I had it again just a couple weeks ago here. And my youngest daughter had it each time with me. And the eldest made it out of trouble each and every time until suddenly she got it this week, and she's had it pretty bad. She's been out all week, but we'll be fine. We're going to take her to Vermont today and chill out if she can make the ride, and things should go smoothly. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. Peace.